Okay, there we go. Nice. Welcome, welcome, ladies. Let me find our session here. So once again, we are Zooming it today. Facebook has been doing some funny things, and so it's nice to have our session also recorded. Let's pin us to featured. There we go. Okay, beautiful. I can see that people are finding us. So today is day 4. Yeah, today is our first bonus session. Yeah, and we have more magic coming next week. Not everything has been announced yet. So those of you who are watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, you're the first to know. Very excited for that. I enjoy these events so much, and so I love doing the extra bits as well. Oh, I love that. So there's a saying, Happy Friday. So Friday with a Y-A-Y. So it's like, yay, it's Friday. Ela's saying hello, hello, darlings. I love that the first few coming in are in the school. We've got the students appearing. You girls are like, we want more. Just as you're hopping in, say hello. Checking out that the comments are working. And let me just do a few sexy admin bits. I do have my glasses. I'm not going to put them on today. Today I was feeling wearing the red, going for something powerful because we're talking about a powerful subject, which is financial abundance. And by financial abundance, we're not just talking about having a lot of an overflow of money, whatever that is for you. So having enough to be able to also put some aside and to allow your pot to grow in the background. So you've got that cushion to fall back on or to invest in things, that sort of financial abundance. We're also talking about you having a healthy relationship, a loving, trusting, confident, balanced relationship with money. Because people can have a lot of money and not have a healthy relationship with it. Yeah. People can have an overflow and still feel like they don't have enough and still be afraid when it comes to investing and allowing money to go out. Yeah. So it creates this stagnancy. There's not the flow. Yeah. The flow in, the flow out. Before we do that, let me just check the comments. I'm going to go to back and forth, back and forth. Hello, Johanny darling. Hola to the lady in red, confidence. Yes. Red and blue, going for the colors today. A Verity, darling. It's wonderful you could join us on the live. I know you have been following the replays. Okay, notes. Just a few admin bits. You know we love a bit of sexy admin. First off is we've decided what the prize is going to be for the winner. You still have time to enter the prize draw. We're not going to announce the winner until our last session next week. Okay, remember it's sharing with 5 of your people, the event, so they can sign up if they feel called to. They don't have to for you to, them to be participants. And or for them to be one of your 5 people. And then just message me to let me know. Otherwise I won't know. I won't put your name down. We've decided the prize. I'm really excited. And you actually get to choose which prize works the best for you. Okay, so which prize is going to bring you the most value? So if you are the winner, you either get one of our magical bundles that we are making right now, and you get it for free and you get lifetime access. So it can be one of our previous bundles. We're also now making one that is business and money mindset that has all of our sessions to date that we've done. You know that this is a new upgrade that we've added in the school. So we've got sessions on how to create an offer suite and a brand that brings in consistent cash, understanding manifestation and how to speed it up, money beliefs, and building a beautiful relationship with money. And then it will also include the next one we're doing, which is on messaging, how to transform and empower, how to create transformation for your audience through the messaging of what you share, whether it's social media, emails, a conversation with a client, how you can create a mini transformation for them so that they get to see what you do in your spaces. Yeah, so they get to experience the value of what you bring to the table in your messaging, and you empower your people through your messaging rather than it just being a repetition of the stuff that we see out there. So yeah, that is the first bundle. For those of you who don't own a business or you're not interested in the money mindset, we have one on abundance and inner peace. So the creation of inner abundance, how to live in a consistent state of inner peace. Yeah. So that is one of the prizes you can choose. And I know there's lots of you who are wanting to join the school. And if the prize is that you want to join the school, you get 50% off the current offers. Okay, so you get to choose one of those two. Either the bundle for free, lifetime access, or 50% off our current offers. So if you win and you want to join for a year, that's crazy. It's like, I'm not going to do the maths now, but it's 3,000 or something. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, what else? As I'm chatting the sexy admin, I would love for you to put in the chat who here owns a business, who here wants to own a business or wants to run a business alongside your current career or job, or maybe you're a mum and you want to have like a side thing of a business. Let me know in the chat. And if you don't own a business and that's not something that you're looking at for your future, money, finances, what's the sort of relationship you want to be creating there? The reason I want to know in the chat is the following: to know what it is I'm speaking to. Yeah. Those of you who are on the live, you get that little extra bit of, I reply to your comments. So if you say, look, I'm working on this in my business, you get some coaching in real time. Yay! Hello, Lisa, darling. A long time. It's great to see you here on the live. Yay! I love this. So we have more magic coming up next week. I was having a chat with Fela and just feeling into things we've done that's been really powerful for you ladies in previous events. And I remembered, I think it was the penultimate one we did a Q&A, a question and answer session. And it was so useful. And a lot of you took away really, really powerful personal insights from the Q&A. And you know, I love to give value from a place of abundance, right? So we're going to do, you're the first ones to know, we're going to do a Q&A next week. We're not sure when yet. So keep an eye out for emails and posts, okay? So as of now, you can start writing down your questions. It can be to do with all of the spectrum of things that we cover in the school. Abundance, inner peace, self-confidence, body confidence, nutrition, health, the yogic practices, business and money mindset, happiness. Have I missed something? We do a lot of things in the school. You get to ask a question, relationships, love, all of those things, okay? Make sure you get those to us by Monday. So you've got all of the weekend to write down your questions and send those in. If you can send them into Fela, yeah? Fela, if you're there, darling, can you just say hello in the comments? If you can send those into Fela, and then she's amazing with these things. She organizes them all out for me in like this format that's so easy for me to follow. Everybody needs, all of you who run a business, you need a Fela in your life. It's just such a joy, someone who has this vision, the same vision as you, for helping other people. And then just, there we go, there's Fela. Tadeusz is saying, I am freelancing, teaching yoga, giving hands-on healing, creating a safe nervous system around money is a longing for ... Okay. Yes. Imagine building your business and your dream life, having complete trust that money will always be an overflow for you. So you never need to question investing in the things. You never need to be second guessing yourself. It's a really beautiful place to be. And then sometimes when there's like a new thing and it's a big investment, the first few times you do it, it's like, oh, it's only normal. I'm actually going to be talking about that today. Yeah. Verity's saying I have a coaching business and I'm growing that. Also trying to focus on financial abundance from that. Yes. And Verity, I love seeing all of the stuff that you put on social media. It's so professional. You're doing things like so on point, you know, with like the courses. So Verity does all sorts of magical things to do with like handstands and all of these acrobatic stuff. But you also do other things, don't you, Danny? Let us know what I'm missing out. At the end of the session today, I'm going to invite you to join us in the school. Okay, so I'll be talking about the school more in depth. You hear me like dropping bits in, but just to give you a heads up, everything that we talk about in these sessions are subjects that we cover in the school, but in a lot more depth. Okay, so it's understanding everything from the strategies, the techniques, the tools, how to apply them, and then creating a formula that works for you in your life whilst being in the right mindset and frequency. Yeah, so a balanced nervous system, belief in yourself, writing a story that works for you, programming it into your subconscious mind. Yeah, so it's this continual, gradual awakening to your potential. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be inviting you at the end of the session to join us in the school. For those of you who are like, I'm serious about my dreams, I'm ready to go out and get this stuff done, and I want to be in a supportive community that normalizes exponential growth, that normalizes being kind to myself, resting when I need to rest, knowing when the best moment to work is, that balance between the doing and the non-doing, then stay on and listen what it's like to be in the school. And you don't need to hear it just from me. Next week, we're going to have a couple of students coming in and having a chat and just sharing their stories. One of whom has been working with me for like a year and a half, and the other who joined the school 3 months ago and has just extended her membership to a year and 3 months. Okay, so it's really nice to hear students' perspectives on how this stuff works for them and what it's like in the school. Okay, let me just check the comments. Yeah, Verity does lots of incredible things with the body. If any of you are interested in like aerial work, circus performance and all of that sort of stuff, you should follow her on social media. And I know I've already said this, but I want to say it again. I love following people who I have known before they could do the things that they currently do, because it allows me to believe that it is also possible for me. And this is why I love teaching what I teach, because so many of you have been with me since before I was making a lot of money from what I do, before I had a balanced nervous system doing what I do, before I completely healed my anorexic mindset even. Yeah, some of you have been with me for quite some time. And there's something so powerful. The school's been open for a year. Yeah, we've just celebrated 1 year anniversary. And there's something so powerful about following someone who you can see is doing so well, and you've also seen them before they started the process, as it makes it more real. It makes it more, our brains capable of letting go of the disbelief of it being possible for us. And this is what I love with Verity's stuff, is because we know each other from before Verity was doing handstands. And so I see her doing them, and I've signed up to one of her courses. And I'm like, well, I've seen her before and I can see her doing crazy stuff now. So it means I can do it as well. Just got to be persistent with it. So Ela's saying, I have an interior designing office, so I'm an entrepreneur. I love that you embody that as what you are, Ela. That's beautiful. I'm manifesting awesome projects, customers coming in on a regular basis, and working on financial abundance, and it just disappeared. So I can only see 4 comments at a time, but I got the majority of that. Yes, it makes it a lot more attainable. Verity saying about the handstands, you can. I can hold a straight handstand for a short period of time, but the pressing still, I'm still working on it. Ela's saying my brother's wife has a circus school and she performs also. By the way, her main thing is hula hoop. Ooh, titty is, darling. Did you hear that? Hula hoopy. Okay, notes. So today we're going to be focusing a lot on stories. I'm going to be sharing stories with you, different people that I follow, that I watch, personal stories of my own. And this is something that we do a lot in the school. We share our stories. And I also use a lot of analogies to help you to really be able to visualize what it is that you are bringing in, what it is you are manifesting, for it to make sense. Yeah. So it's almost tangible. You can see it, you can smell it, you can touch it. Yeah. Sometimes the mindset things can seem intangible. And so we're creating these analogies so you can see it in your mind what it is I'm bringing in. Today's going to be about stories. Stories to help you understand how this mindset shifting can make a massive impact on your life and what it looks like. But before I do, I just want to recap an analogy that we used in a previous free event. Those of you who were there, you'll remember this one. But I talked about choosing to be in the driving seat of the car that's going on the path of your life. So if you imagine that you are driving on the path of your life, and so many people, it's like they're in a taxi and they're actually sitting in the back seat. And they get to enjoy the view, but they're not actually deciding what the route is. And in fact, often not what the destination is. And so many people are going through life not actually bringing conscious awareness to where it is they want to go. They're not even deciding where they want to go. Life is just happening. And if people are happy doing that, amazing. For me, I like to choose where it is I'm going. And I've been that way since a pretty young age. And I thought there was something wrong with me because I've always been like, I want to be happy. I want to have fun all of the time. I want to do things that bring me joy. And I do not want to be in a job, a career, some form of obligation that kills my light or dims my light in any way. And so I've always been really clear on deciding what is it I want and what is the path to get there. I've always chosen to be in the driving seat. And sometimes that's, scary because you've got to make the decisions when you're in the driving seat to go left or right, when you're at a T-junction or a roundabout in your life and you're in the driving seat. You're not just letting life take you where it wants to take you. You've got to have the courage to make the decisions. And so when we're choosing to step into our greatness, it's realizing that when life produces multiple choices, we've just got to have the faith that whichever decision we make, we will choose to find the gold, whether or not it works out in the way that we want it to. And this is a big thing on our path to our greatness, is to choose to not be in the passenger seat anymore, to actually get into the driving seat and choose, look, where is it I'm going? What is it I want? Holding that vision. And then something I mentioned in one of our sessions the other day, and we're going to go deeper on it today. And on Verity, I love that this resonated for you. You mentioned it in the comments. That when you are wanting to go somewhere you have never gone before, you cannot make decisions based on your current reality. You cannot look at the evidence of what it is around you and make your decisions from that place. Let's go there first, and then I'll go to our first story. Verity's saying that's excellent, though. I'm going to presume that's about holding the handstand. It feels really good. I'm excited for it to be easier to hold for longer. So this is saying that I just realized even my profile photo is a hula hoop, wannabe hula hooper. You are an amazing hula hooper already in a very short period of time. Oh, thank you, Verity, darling. You're building my confidence because it's taken me a long time to get to that. Okay, coming back. So let me give you an example. What do I mean by making decisions from your future self? Because that's something maybe any of you who follow like motivational speakers, you might have heard them say that before. Make decisions from your future self. And like, yeah, that sounds cute, but what the fuck does it mean? I'm going to try not to swear because I think that's why Facebook blocks the videos. What the does that mean? What it means is the following. Let's say you're building a business and you have this intuitive thought that having a weekly appearance on a radio show is going to help you reach new people, build an audience, and build trust over time. You have this intuitive, oh, that would be really good. So let's say you're focusing on your future self, and your future self is a public speaker. Yeah, this is me referring to thoughts that are going through my mind. You see yourself as a public speaker on stages in front of thousands of people, comfortable holding a microphone, really good at articulating the things, at sharing the ideas and being able to put them into stories that people can relate to. Going on a weekly radio segment is a great way to practice that as you build your audience. So it's a double whammy, right? So let's say that intuition drops in. If you make decisions from your current reality, you'll probably go, well, I'm not good enough to do that yet. I need to practice my public speaking more before I'm ready to go on a radio segment. So I'm just going to wait a little while. If you have those moments of intuition, it's for a reason. Follow through on those thoughts that feel right before your rational minds and sometimes our rational mind serves us, but so many times it is driven by fear of going into the unknown. And if what you are interested in is exponential growth and quantum leaps that require less work and less effort, not burning yourself out, not having to work insane hours, it means that you want to follow through on your intuition. Don't let your rational mind, when it is fear keeping you stuck where you are and not doing things that feel scary and require you to learn how to get good at it, yeah? Follow through on those things. Do things that scare you. So let's say you then decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to do the radio segment. And you mention it to a friend. And that friend says to you, oh, well, there's a networking event next week. And there's going to be loads of people from TV, radio, podcasts, influential people who are going to be great contacts. You should come along. Just to let you know, it's 5,000 euros entrance fee. What is your response? How do you respond to that? I want to hear in the comments. You have this opportunity. If you don't own a business, focus it on something else. A massive opportunity arrives. There are going to be really influential people that maybe you feel imposter syndrome around. Maybe you feel that you're not good enough to have a conversation with that level of people, and there is a big fee to walk through that door. What is your automatic response? What's the story you tell yourself? And as you're writing, I'm going to go grab a glass of water because I realize I don't have one with me. I'm just adding a little magnesium to my water. Ladies, if you're not doing this already, I highly recommend you add magnesium to your water. The right magnesium chloride, I think it is. I need to ask my expert friend, Donnie. Today's is saying, I can't afford it. Would have been my old me, but I'm learning from you, bless you babes, to hold my nervous system strong and steady and find trust in these things. Boom, love that response. So I like you just to observe what your automatic response is to that opportunity that presents itself to you. Now, if you were to make your decision from your current circumstances, you would probably look at your bank account and freak out. Let's say that 5 grand is a lot. For some of you, it won't be. Make it into an amount that is a lot for you. You look at your bank account and you see that either that amount is available, but it would really stretch you, or that amount isn't available. And so you're looking at your current circumstance and saying, well, the money isn't there, so I'm not going to do it. And so that opportunity passes you by and you convince yourself, well, I find another way in that doesn't cost so much and that doesn't get me so much out of my comfort zone. For those of you who want quantum leaps, the shift is this: stepping into your greatness is understanding it's only normal to feel fear, investing in yourself at that level, and choosing to go into a room with really influential people and standing in your greatness in front of people who really know their stuff. And that sort of thing takes practice, and it won't feel comfortable the first few times you do it. And this is something that has really shifted for me. When it comes to investing in myself, when it comes to getting into rooms and having conversations with influential people, one of the things that I program in is that I always have the money available to me. Even if the money doesn't seem available at the time, I always find ways to make it possible. And I've made some incredible investments in myself over the last 1.5 to 2 years. Before the money was available, I started making the investment, not knowing where the money was going to come from. And I trusted and I followed through and the money came. And I'm going to talk you through a moment when I really freaked out about it, but I'll do that in a minute. So when you decide from your future self, you see yourself on those stages, you see yourself with the incredible business, you see yourself helping the people you want to help, where your business is bringing in money consistently and easily and it's flowing. What does that version of you decide when it comes to that opportunity? Would that version of you say to you, well, it's better to save the 5,000 and just to stay where safe, because that you know what to do in that area. So just play it safe. That's the best route. Of course not. That future version of yourself is thanking you for having made the decision and done the scary thing. And let's say you walk into that room and you don't make any good connections. It is then up to you to find the gold from that, to learn from that experience, to decide to show up differently next time. Maybe you walk into the room and you're too fearful and you don't have conversations with the people, so nobody sees you, nothing comes of it. Yeah, what's the gold in that is to realize you've then got to go and speak to the people. You've got to program in, I always have something important to share with people. I am that I'm here to make a difference in the world. I am that I'm here to lead by example and to be the light for myself and others, or whatever it is that you're programming in. So that when you have the conversation with the people, it's not about them making lots more money than you or having a bigger business than you. It's remembering you're here for important things. And so it's important for you to practice getting comfortable having conversations with other people that are here doing big things in the world. Okay, Verity, darling, watching the rest on recording. Mwah. Okay. You won't be able to hear this, but there's some flamenco music in the background from one of my neighbors, and I absolutely love it. Really makes me smile when I go out onto my balcony. Sometimes they've got incense burning and they've got gong music. And today it's some flamenco. I love my neighbors, they're really awesome. So earlier I was watching an interview, and this is something I do pretty much every day. I watch interviews with experts in their fields. I read books. I study every day. Yeah, I'm always feeding my mind with information to help me release the disbelief and step into the quantum field of possibilities. And I'm always looking at everything I read, everything I listen to, every person's story that they tell through the lens of what is the goal here? How can I learn about how this person thinks so that I can embody some of the greatness they have already embodied in themselves? This is key. Yeah? This is key when you are wanting to step into another level in your life, whether it's to do with your body, relationships, business, happiness, self-confidence. Learning to observe people who already are that and watching how do they think? How do they treat themselves? How do they speak to themselves? It's such subtle things that unless you really watch, you won't notice. This is one of the beautiful things about the school is I say the things. So it's really obvious. So it's sharing how does a successful person think? How does a happy person think? How does a confident person think? What are the thoughts that get in your way as you're building the confidence, as you're building that consistent stream of income, as you're building your healthy relationship with money? What are the things that get in the way? And what's the new stuff you're programming in? So learning how somebody who already embodies the things thinks, this is a key component. Yeah. So for example, if you're going to one of Verity's handstand classes, don't just learn the technique, ask questions. How did you get past the impatience of not seeing progress? Or what did you do when you were afraid of falling over? What did you do when you noticed that your wrists weren't feeling strong enough? What were the thoughts that went on in your head when you wanted to give up? Get curious, ask questions. Because people who are self-made in their arena have so much wisdom to share. Okay, let's come back to the story. So I was watching this interview with a neuroscientist who's had multiple near-death experiences. When she was 24, she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. And she was told that if she didn't have immediate treatment, that she only had 6 months left to live. So at the age of 24, that's quite unexpected news. And her story is really interesting. I recommend watching the video. And she was married at the time. And she had this intuitive voice come in and say, you need the operation tomorrow, otherwise you're not going to make it. So she spoke with a doctor, a surgeon, they booked in, they scheduled it in the following morning. And as she was about to go in for surgery and she was saying goodbye to her husband, she knew that was the last time she'd ever see him. She knew that at 24 years old, he was not ready to lose a person that he loved in the way that he was possibly going to lose her. And she didn't see him after that. She's now 40-something, I'd guess. Obviously, she made it through that first experience, and then there was a second and a third. She made it through that first experience. And one of the big factors of this first experience that made a profound difference was her mindset. I'm going to read out what it was she said. The difference between I don't want to die and I'm going to fight to live. And this is a neuroscientist. She then went on to study neuroscience. She now understands how the brain works and so can see how important that difference in narrative was in that moment in her life. So when it comes to building your financial abundance, You're not focusing on, I don't want to be in scarcity anymore. I don't want to be struggling to get to the end of the month. Focusing on that, your brain will be filtering out all of the opportunities that will get you to financial abundance and will be focusing on creating more of the same. The big difference between I don't want to die is focusing on death and hoping to keep death at bay. I choose to fight to live is focusing on living. And so what her mind was doing was seeing all of the opportunities to help improve her health and her well-being, to help her to live. And this is exactly the same thing you want to be doing with your finances. You want to be doing with building your business. You want to be doing with your relationships, your health, with your self-confidence. You're not focusing on what you don't want. You're focusing on what you do want. Literally, that small shift in narrative makes a profound difference. And you allow yourself to get excited about it. So, for example, I don't want to struggle financially converts into, I am going to do everything I need to do to create my own financial freedom. I'm going to do everything I need to do to create my financial freedom. And notice the difference there. You are in the driving seat. You are the one deciding. It is in your power. And then, of course, you're wanting to, this is something we do in the school, it's understanding balance. Always being in the place of balance. Never forcing, never driving yourself from fear to get the things done. That will only burn you out. Yeah, every time we talk a lot about fight or flight response, noticing when you're going into fear and you're freezing and you're not doing the things. Yeah, so we're always coming back to center. Why is this really important? I choose consciously to lead by example that it is possible to be financially abundant, healthy, happy, have fantastic relationships, and not need to work insane hours. So I work like 4.5 days a week, sometimes only 4. I have 1 week off each month. Sometimes I choose to work that week. Yeah, 1 week off every month. If I want to, I can take the majority of that week off and I'll do some admin bits. That is how I choose to work. And I'm now making 3, sometimes 4 times more than I used to make. Yeah. And so I choose to model that. And I choose to balance my nervous system, create things from trust, one for myself, and also to be able to lead by example, to prove that it is possible. That you get to build a life where you're doing something that genuinely fulfills you and excites you. You get to wake up every morning looking forward to your day, and money is flowing in with such ease that you don't even need to think about it anymore. Your focus doesn't need to be on the money because it's a byproduct of you understanding the other laws. You know, the one that some of the stuff I talked about in the business bundle, what bringing a consistent income in looks like. Yeah. So often we can build a business not understanding the consistent income model. So sometimes strategy is a part of what we do in the school. Just to be clear, for those of you who are new to this space, we've recently added a business and money mindset VIP upgrade. So it's like an extra thing on the school. Yeah, so we focus on connection to your body, physical health. We do the minds, understanding the mind, training the mind, subconscious reprogramming. Then we focus on meaning, purpose, happiness, vibrational frequency, and now we have the business part as well. So we're not missing anything. It's the yoga, the union of all that you are, so that you get to build your life, whether or not you're building a business, from a place of inner abundance and inner peace. Okay. it's funny, as I was listening to this podcast today, I hadn't, this interview with this neuroscientist, I hadn't imagined I'd be sharing so much from this one interview. And this is the thing, when you look at things through a certain lens, you can find so much gold. And I continued to listen in, and more stuff was coming up and more stuff was coming up. So later on, she then in her third near-death experience she pushed herself to burn out. Her body started to shut down. I believe her liver, something happened with her liver. I'm not quite sure what it was. She was in hospital and she was at the point of leaving her body. She had people around her and had this experience where, as I understand, it was an out-of-body experience, and she started to experience this separation from her physical self, like she was about to leave this physical realm and go to whatever is after. And what she shared was so powerful, and I knew it was really important for anyone who needs to hear this right now to come in and share the message. Just as she felt she was about to leave her physical body, she heard this really powerful female voice. And this female voice said something along the lines of, "It's not your time, and it's not up to you to decide." And then this voice started to get annoyed at her. And it was saying, "You never look after me. You never listen to me. You never give me what I need. You just have these really high expectations of what I should do without you doing any of the necessary things to assure that I am okay." Now, before I tell you what that voice was, this exact story is so similar to one that Regan Hillier, a conscious millionaire, shared about her relationship with money. So she had a dream where money came to her, and she realized she's in a relationship with money. It's a lifelong relationship. And it's pretty much exactly the same things that money was saying to her in her dream. "You don't appreciate me. You have these expectations. You want me to work a certain way for you. And when I don't work in the way you expect me to, then you get angry at me. You speak to me with harsh words." So with this lady, the neuroscientist, it was actually her body. I mean, it makes sense. She was burning out. She was pushing herself. She was working too hard. She was believing in the very yang masculine model. Push more, push more, push more. Then you'll get more done. Then you'll be more successful. Then you have more money, whatever the narrative was for her. And her body was like, "That's not how it works." Yeah. So I'm going to pose you a question. Hello, Sally Danny. I'm going to pose you a question. Whatever area of your life you're focusing on right now, that you feel you are ready to invite in more abundance, whether it's money, love, health, your body, relationships, career, your business, whatever area of your life you're focusing on. If that area of your life, you were to go to sleep tonight and it were to have a conversation with you. So notice you are having a relationship with all of these elements of your life, including yourself, including you. So maybe your area of abundance is your relationship with yourself, your self-confidence, your self-belief, your self-worth. Let's say you go to sleep tonight and that part of you decides to have a conversation with you. And it's being brutally honest. And it's saying to you how you are treating it, how you are speaking to it, how connected or disconnected you are from it. What would it have to say? What would that part of you or that part of your life have to say to you right now? You can share it in the chat if you want to. Maybe you like to meditate on that. And when you pose yourself this question, you might be thinking, why do you want me to go to that place if it doesn't feel nice, Rachel? I thought this is about building me up. It's really important for us to be truthful with ourselves. We were talking about this in a session just the other day in the school. Satya is one of the yamas in the Yoga Sutras, and it's about truthfulness. And these yogic principles, it's not a rule book of commandments that chain you to having to turn up in a certain way. They are maps and keys that lead to your freedom, that lead you to the gold that already resides within, the light and love that already resides within you. Yeah, so they help guide you in that direction so that you can find it. And this truthfulness in this instant means the following: you cannot heal what you can't see. You cannot transform what you do not understand. And so part of the process of healing requires us to be really honest with ourselves and sometimes look in the uncomfortable places so we know what it is we're working with. So we know what the stories are that we are transforming. What is it you're turning around? What are the stories you tell yourself that limit you and keep you where you are? And so sometimes it requires that you sit with it. And any emotions that come up, allowing them to be there. Yeah. And so sometimes we might say, oh, well, if my body were to have a conversation with me, it would tell me that I'm eating really healthily and I'm doing the exercise and that is good and I'm doing really well, because that sounds like the sexy answer to give. It bigs you up and makes you feel good about yourself. But what if you're eating the healthy foods and you're doing the exercise, but your actions are driven by fear? By fear of needing to look a certain way to be good enough and to like what you see in the mirror. So it's when we really get to be honest with ourselves and we actually look at the narrative beneath the narrative. That's the thing you want to be satya, you want to be practicing your truthfulness. Allow the light to be shone on those dark parts of yourself so you can heal them, bring them to the surface and heal them and transform them. And then you will find that next level of freedom and that next level of freedom. Teresa is saying, ooh, that's a challenging one. See, I know I'm going through this quickly. In the school, we don't go so fast. This is why it's like minimum of 3 months, preferably a whole year. In 3 months, you learn a lot. There's big shifts in 3 months. Yeah, you don't recognize yourself from starting to the end of those 3 months. So imagine what it's like for a year. Yeah. And so we slow it down and we actually go through the processes and we look at the stories and we have a smile and we nurture those parts of ourselves. We don't blame or shame, we bring acceptance. Yeah, and then we transform the story. Ela's saying, I think money would say to me that every time I try to come into your life, you freak out and get so scared of losing me that you're actually killing me and making me disappear yourself. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Teresa saying, money would say to me, don't cut yourself and me short. Give yourself the chance to handle me with grace. And then somebody who, so I used to have very much a scarcity mindset when it came to money. I grew up in a house where on the bathroom wall, there was an Indian Cree saying that said, only when the last fish has died, the last tree has been chopped down, and the last river's dried up, will we realize we can't eat money. And it wasn't just that. it was a number of other things. I've seen through albums my dad's given me of many generations back, the level of poverty just a few generations ago in my family. So there's, generational beliefs around money that I've been clearing up. The difference is hard to describe. To be able to live with a balanced nervous system when it comes to investing, to spending, to receiving, how life-changing that is. Not even from the fact that money comes in so much more easily because there's no more fighting it, there's no more resistance, and there's no more holding on to it. So that example with the networking opportunity, if that opportunity arises for myself, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's going to be a stretch, but of course I'm going to do it. There's actually an opportunity for an event that sounds amazing and will have lots of benefits from it, which is a minimum 4,000 investment. I'm not even questioning it. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, how am I going to make this happen? How can I make the first payment? Yeah. And then it gets to be more fun and lighter. And when we know that something is for us, it's allowing ourselves to make the investment or to receive whatever it might be. Let me just go through my notes because I've gone between, jumped from one to the other and not gone in order. Hila's saying, by the way, I just realized I use a lot of don'ts. I don't want to struggle with money. I don't want to have stress about money. I really need to focus on changing the language. Yes, I love that realization for you. So what is the new narrative? What's the positive spin on that? What do you want to be focusing on? And allow yourself to write it down and come back to it regularly. Yeah. So remember the morning practices that we do, coming back to that regularly. Sally's saying, I used to tell myself that wanting money made me a bad person. Yeah, how many of us, we have this belief that rich people are bad people, especially as a yoga teacher, and I have spent years stressing over barely having enough to pay my bills. And as a yoga teacher or whatever else you may be doing, at what level can you serve people when your nervous system is imbalanced? When you're burnt out because you're working so much, to truly be able to serve the people you are here to serve with the business. I'm speaking to the business owners here, with the business that you offer, or if you're a team manager or a CEO with the people that you work with. Imagine the level at which you can serve them and lead them by being the example and the light when your nervous system is balanced. And people are like, oh, how do I balance my nervous system? There are various different things. The stories, huge parts. Nervous system regulation, another one. But we don't have time to go over that today. Yeah, Sally's saying I'd be ill so often. Yeah, we stress ourselves to illness. Our nervous system is in sympathetic rather than parasympathetic. So that is fight or flight, in a chronic state of stress because of our thoughts and because we don't learn how to regulate our nervous systems. So a few self-written quotes that I wanted to share with you. To get something you have not yet had in your life, you must do what you have not yet done. So whatever vision that you have of what you are manifesting, to manifest something you have never manifested before requires you show up in ways you have never shown up until this point. And it requires that you step into that next level of greatness, that you make your decisions from your future self. Yeah. Each new level of financial abundance requires a new version of yourself. That's probably a quote from someone else, but I didn't look it up. But each new level of financial abundance requires a new version of you to hold that, to know how to invest it, to know how to help it grow, to know how to work at that level, at that standard, to not question your value when you do, when you present your prices to your clients. Yeah, standing in your greatness. Okay, one last thing I would like to share with you, and then I'll invite you into the school and I'll share the different options. Okay. Oh, two stories. I did promise I was going to talk about reinvesting, me freaking out over making a big investment. Yeah. So I invested in my coach for the first time, maybe 18 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. And it was a big investment for me at that time. It was a big, big stretch. I did not know how I was going to get that money to pay, and I did. And I paid it really quickly. And then as I was coming up to the end of the first year and I realized it was time to invest a second time, it was coinciding with a couple of other things. It was coinciding with me going in to have my breast implants removed, which was a big investment. And also I had decided I was going to take 2 full months off from major amount of work. So I was going to do, for the first month, 0 work, and for the second month, a tiny amount of work. And that for me was super important. So it wasn't only the investment in the operation itself, it was also the investment to be able to take that period of time off and to not be freaking out. And so as I realized it was time to reinvest with my coach, and I reached out and I asked about the options and I found out what the financial investment was, that second time around it was more challenging for me, because there was the emotional part of 20 years with breast implants, having gone through a lot of inner healing to be ready for it, and everything else. And I remember going between yes, no, whoa, and then finally saying, because I do exactly the same as my coach does, I put a time frame on the offers, and it's not to push you into making a decision. It is to help you make a clear decision. Yeah. For those of you who are in business, this is going to be really useful for you. Having offers with an end date is not about convincing people to buy. It is about helping them to make a clear decision, a clear yes or a clear no, to be decisive and to follow through on that decision. And so when you put a cutoff date and time, you are actually helping people. So this, and you can show them how this is useful. You can explain it to them either with your energy, way of being, or with words, that you're actually helping them to make a decision. Otherwise, it's so easy to procrastinate on the decision, especially when it's one that can be challenging, like investing in ourselves. So my coach gave me, I think it was 5 days to decide, or 7 days to decide. And the date was getting closer and closer and closer. And I think I had maybe 24 hours. And I was looking at my account and I was like, the money's not there. How am I going to do this? The money's not even there for the operation. And then I sat down and I had a conversation with my mum, because it doesn't matter what age we are, whether our mothers are with us or not anymore. There are moments that we can do with some mum advice, right? And I sat down with my mum and we had a conversation, and she guided me, it was beautiful, to making a decision for my future self. To sit with my future self, because she'd seen how much being in the container had impacted my transformation on all levels. And so I made my decision for my future self. And from my future self, it was logical. It was rational. It wasn't even, following intuition. It just made sense to reinvest, because I knew I would get that investment back 10x, if not more. And that in itself relaxed my nervous system. I made a clear decision and then followed through on it. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because as you are going to that next level in whatever area of your life you're focusing on, it requires courage. You will find that you will encounter the voice of fear, the voice of doubt, what feels like the rational mind. And the more times You choose to make your decisions from your future self. So this isn't like irrational decisions. It is seeing where it is you are going and working backwards from there. The bigger the leaps you are going to make in your journey of growth. So those of you who are in the school, because I can see lots of students appearing in the comments, those of you who are in the school, can you share what has shifted for you since you joined the school? What's shifted for you? Denise is saying, I so resonate with that. I've been thinking that always since being a yoga teacher, yeah, when it comes to the making of the money, that money can't be that important when I'm a yoga teacher, that it doesn't belong together with the true yogic way. Yes, and when we realize that if we want to live in an ashram, if we want to live on a mountain, if we want to live a really basic life, we can do that. If we want to live in the part of society in which it is necessary to have a certain amount of money to function, it is important to have an overflow so that your nervous system can be balanced, so you can focus on the things that you want to be doing to help others. Yeah. And so once we shift our narrative from money is bad, and it's bad to make a lot of money as a yoga teacher, to by making a lot of money as a yoga teacher, I can genuinely help people because I'm not dysregulated anymore, then we can really shift our perspective. So Tadeusz is saying about being in the school, what's really shifted is the way I'm holding myself in difficult challenges. Yeah. So I love that you brought that up, Tadeusz. And I think this is something we can go deeper into in the Q&A next week. Yeah, because this is a really, really important one. How do you hold yourself when things aren't going the way you want them to? So when you're not making the money you want to make, when the relationship isn't going the way you want it to, when you're not getting the results in your fitness, whatever it is you're focusing on, how you hold yourself in those moments is what determines not only your level of success, also your level of happiness, your level of belief in yourself, and how balanced your nervous system gets to be. And the reason for this is the following. If when the money isn't coming in with the consistency that you want it to, or in amounts that you want it to, you fall into the narrative of not enoughness, then not only do you dysregulate your nervous system, you won't see the opportunities for you to grow and bring more money in. And not only that, how will you show up in your work or with your clients if when the money dips, you start to go back into scarcity mode? If you can hold yourself in a place of trust, and this is where the real personal power work is, when you're not getting what you want. So we're not just focusing in the school on the moments when you get the stuff you want. We want to be really deep diving into when things aren't going your way, how do you show up? What are the stories you tell yourself? And what are the actions that you take in alignment with a story of abundance? So when the money isn't coming in, it's not that we're constantly telling ourselves a story, it's not here yet, it's not here yet. Yeah? We're focusing on all of the gold that is already in our lives, all of the things that we have already built, and all of the opportunities that are out there to continue growing. And we come back to trust and back to trust. We write a story that serves us so that we show up in our greatness, no matter how much money is coming in your account. And then you start to notice that it builds up quickly again. Why? Because you're not lowering your frequency in the things that you do just because the money is not there for a moment. Yeah. And when you build a business, there will be months that are like, what? And then months that are lower. And so it's really important that you hold yourself in all of those moments. So Sally is saying about what's shifted since I joined the school is my self-awareness, how I speak to myself, values myself, look after myself. The support is a big factor. Yes, investing for another year made me worry financially, but the thought of not having the school for another year felt worse. Yeah, I can really resonate, as that for me was the same with me reinvesting. Realizing how differently I felt after 1 year of being in a supportive container. And yeah, it just felt so much love by going and reinvesting. Ela says, I have realized so many things. I stress less. I know that my thoughts very often are just stories. I breathe, I focus on facts, and I'm a lot more balanced and calm. So my relationship and money related situations. I love that. And Ela's been with us for a month and a half. Yeah. So these, I mean, she did a bundle before and has been coming to free events as well, but a month and a half in the school. And these are the things that are shifting. Okay. Inviting you to join us, ladies. Yeah. Why join the school? I mean, I don't really need to tell you. When you know that something is for you, you feel it. Yeah, there's like this click of, I'm ready to have that in my life. And then noticing anything that stops you from moving on that feeling. So if you are noticing you're feeling that I'm ready to be in this sort of space, to have that sort of support, to be in a safe container, to be held to a really high standard, to be surrounded by examples, yeah? And you notice that there's anything that's getting in the way of you following through on that intuition, then reach out, yeah? You can book a call. I'm going to share all of the links. You can book a call with me, we can have a chat. Doesn't mean that there's any obligation. I always say this, I believe in aligned sales so that it feels good for both parties. Yeah, I don't like the whole convincing thing. I want you to want to be in the school. Yeah, I want there to be that desire there on your part. Some of the biggest things when entering the school, whether you are a mum, you own a business, you work as a manager or a CEO, or you're wanting to get a promotion or a pay raise in the job that you do, or you're wanting to change jobs to get more money, yeah? Being in the school, learning self-confidence, learning emotional regulation, nervous system regulation, learning to believe in yourself and your actions. This is a place where you are leading yourself. Yeah. So when you are leading yourself, you're stepping into your power and you're choosing to no longer be the victim of circumstance, but be the conscious creator of the life that you desire. There is a big difference between those two. This is personal power. Yeah. For those of you who own businesses, investing in yourself first means that you know how to hold your clients when they are doing the same. So it doesn't matter what your line of business may be. If you're working with the exchange of payments, knowing what it's like to invest in yourself and to value something at that level, to want to put that time and effort into it, means that you can hold others to that standard. Why? Because you've lived it. And so this is a big thing, not just for those of you who are business owners. Learning to speak the value of something when you are living it is no longer something that you need to learn how to do. You're just speaking from experience. Okay. So I've shared all of the things. For those of you who are ready to step into your full potential, I'm excited to have those conversations with you. Okay. Next week, we have the chats with 2 of our students, so you get some other perspectives, and we will do our Q&A. So remember to send Fela your questions or areas you want to be focusing on, yeah? And then we will let you know ASAP. when that is. The prize draw winner will be announced on the last session, so there's still time to enter. Remember, both prizes are incredible. Okay. I love you all. Let's sign off for today, and let's hope that the whole of today's session worked properly, tech-wise, on Facebook, and I will see you next week.